Have you ever said something in anger that you regretted the moment it left your mouth? Have you ever let a single bad moment hijack your entire day, your mood, your relationships? Well, today's video is for you. We're sharing 7 timeless Stoic lessons on controlling your emotions that will change the way you move through the world, no matter how chaotic it gets around you. Before we begin, I would appreciate if you liked the video so that you can help me to continue spreading the Stoic philosophy. If you are not subscribed, I recommend you to subscribe and activate the bell so you don't miss any video. Emotions are not the enemy. Let's get that out of the way before we go any further, because a lot of people hear Stoic and think emotionless, and that is not what we're building here. Anger, grief, jealousy, fear, these are not malfunctions. They are ancient signals, hardwired into you long before language existed, designed to protect you, to warn you, to move you. The problem was never that you feel. The problem is what happens in the 4 or 5 seconds after you feel, when the emotion is still raw and you have a choice you don't yet know you're making. That gap, tiny as it is where every version of your life splits into 2. The one where the emotion runs you and the one where you run it. Everything in this video lives inside that gap. Lesson number 1. Separate the event from your judgment. Epictetus said it plainly: men are disturbed not by things, but by the views which they take of them. This is the foundation of every emotional battle you will ever fight. The event itself, the traffic jam, the harsh email, the friend who didn't call back, is neutral. It carries no emotional charge on its own. The charge comes entirely from the story you attach to it. Someone cuts you off in traffic. That's the event. This person thinks they're more important than me. This is disrespectful. This ruins my morning. That's the judgment. And it's the judgment, not the event, that raises your heart rate and clenches your jaw. The Stoic practice here is simple to describe and hard to master. When you feel a surge of anger, frustration, or hurt, pause and ask yourself, what actually happened versus what I am telling myself about what happened? Strip the event down to its bare facts. Often you'll find the facts are boring and the story is where all the pain lives. This doesn't mean suppressing what you feel. It means refusing to let an unexamined story run your nervous system. Let's make this concrete, because abstract philosophy is easy to nod along to and hard to actually use. Your partner doesn't respond to a text for 3 hours. The bare fact, 3 hours passed with no reply. That's it. That's all that objectively happened. But watch what the mind does next, uninvited. They're ignoring me. They don't care. Something's wrong between us. Maybe they're with someone else. None of that is fact. All of it is judgment, manufactured in seconds, and yet it feels exactly as real as the silence itself. By the time they finally text back with a simple, "sorry, was in back-to-back meetings," you've already spent 3 hours living inside a story you invented, and your body has been marinating in stress hormones the entire time for a threat that never existed. Marcus Aurelius returned to this idea constantly in his private writings, reminding himself that if you are pained by any external thing, it is not this that disturbs you, but your own judgment about it, and it is in your power to wipe out this judgment now. Notice the phrase, "in your power." He wasn't writing this for an audience of admirers centuries later. He was writing it to himself as Emperor of Rome, in the middle of wars and plagues and betrayals, because even he needed the reminder that the story is optional even when the event is not. Try this the next time you feel your chest tighten. Say out loud, even just in your head, "The fact is X, the story I'm telling myself is Y." Just the act of separating them, out loud or on paper, drains most of the emotional charge before you've done anything else. You haven't fixed the problem yet. You've just stopped adding fuel to it. Lesson number 2. Don't suppress it, observe it. A common misunderstanding of Stoicism is that it teaches you to become numb, to bottle everything up until you're a stone-faced robot. That is not Stoicism. That is repression, and repression has a cost. What the Stoics actually taught was observation. When an emotion rises, whether it's rage, jealousy, or grief, you don't shove it down. You watch it. You name it. This is anger. It started in my chest. It's making my thoughts move fast. The moment you observe an emotion, instead of becoming it, you create distance. And in that distance is where your power lives. Marcus Aurelius wrote his private journal precisely because he needed a space to observe his own reactions honestly, including the petty and ugly ones. He wasn't performing wisdom for an audience. He was doing the unglamorous work of watching his own mind. That's the practice. When the emotion hits, don't ask, "How do I make this go away?" Ask, "What is this, and where did it come from?" Here's why suppression fails, where observation succeeds. When you suppress an emotion, you're not actually removing it, you're relocating it. It doesn't evaporate, it goes underground, and it tends to resurface later, usually at a worse time, aimed at someone who doesn't deserve it. The colleague who never gets angry and then explodes over something minor 6 months later isn't calm. He's been suppressing for 6 months, and the small thing was never the real target. Observation works differently because it doesn't fight the emotion or bury it. It simply changes your relationship to it. You go from being the ocean, tossed by every wave, to being the shore, watching the waves arrive and recede. A practical version of this: the next time you feel a strong emotion rising, try narrating it internally in the third person for just 10 seconds. Not "I am furious," but "There is anger rising in this body right now." That small shift in language, from identifying with the emotion to observing it, is not a trick of semantics. It engages a different part of the mind entirely, the same observing capacity the Stoics called the hegemonikon, the ruling faculty, the part of you that is never actually on fire even when everything around it is. Lesson number 3. You cannot control what happens, only how you respond. This is the core Stoic division. Some things are within your control, and some things are not. Other people's opinions, the weather, the economy, how your boss treats you, none of that is yours to control. What is yours, entirely and completely, is your response. The moment you accept this, an enormous weight lifts. You stop trying to control the uncontrollable, which is exhausting and futile, and you start directing all your energy toward the one thing that's actually yours, your reaction. This doesn't mean passivity, it means precision. Instead of wasting emotional energy raging at a delayed flight, you put that energy into deciding how you'll spend the next 3 hours. Instead of spiraling over a harsh comment from a coworker, you decide what response actually serves you. Control isn't about pretending you have power over everything. It's about wielding total ownership over the one domain you actually govern. Epictetus opened his entire philosophical system with this exact division, calling it the dichotomy of control. He taught that things like our body, our property, our reputation, and our position are not up to us, while our judgments, our impulses, our desires and aversions are entirely up to us. Most emotional suffering, he argued, comes from confusing the two categories, from treating things that are not up to us as though they were, and then feeling betrayed by life when we inevitably fail to control them. Think about how much of your emotional energy this week has been spent on things that were never yours to control in the first place. What your coworker thinks of you, whether it rains on the weekend, how your ex is doing, whether a stranger online agrees with your opinion. None of it is yours. All of it was available to hand back the moment you noticed you were carrying it. What is yours, every single time, without exception, is the next thing you do. Not the traffic, your choice of station. Not the criticism, your choice of response. Not the diagnosis, your choice of attitude toward treatment. This is not a comforting platitude. It is a precise, practical filter you can run every decision through. Is this mine to control? If not, set it down. If yes, act. Lesson number 4. Practice the view from above. When an emotion feels enormous, unbearable, world-ending, the Stoics had a trick: zoom out. Marcus Aurelius called this the view from above, imagining yourself rising above your current situation, above your city, above the earth itself, and looking down at your problem from a cosmic distance. From up there, the argument you had this morning, the mistake you made at work, the insult someone threw at you, all of it shrinks to the size of a single grain of sand on an infinite beach. This isn't about dismissing your feelings as unimportant. It's about restoring proportion. Emotions have a way of convincing you that the current crisis is the biggest thing that has ever happened. The view from above breaks that illusion. Next time you feel emotionally flooded, take 30 seconds and mentally zoom out. Your street, your city, your country, the planet, the galaxy. Then come back down. 9 times out of 10, the problem is still real, but it's no longer all-consuming. Marcus Aurelius wasn't practicing this from a quiet study. Much of the Meditations was written in military camps on campaign, in the middle of a plague that killed millions across the empire, while dealing with betrayal from people he trusted. And yet, he kept returning to this same exercise, reminding himself to look up at the stars as if you were running their course with them, to think of the whole of time and the whole of substance, and to remember how small his own irritations were against that scale. If an emperor fighting wars on multiple fronts needed this perspective daily, it's worth asking why we resist using it over an email. There's a second, quieter version of the view from above that's just as useful. The view across time instead of space. Ask yourself, will this matter in a year? In 5 years? On your deathbed, looking back at your whole life, will this moment even register? Most of what wrecks our afternoons doesn't survive that test. It feels enormous now because now is all your nervous system can perceive in the moment. Zooming out in space or in time is simply a way of borrowing a wider lens than the one panic hands you by default. Lesson number 5. Love your fate, don't fight it. The Stoics had a phrase for this, Amor Fati, the love of one's fate. Most emotional suffering doesn't come from what happens to us. It comes from our resistance to what happens to us. You didn't get the promotion. The relationship ended. The plan fell apart. The emotional pain multiplies the moment you start insisting it shouldn't have happened this way. Amor Fati asks you to do something radical. Stop fighting reality and start working with it. This isn't blind positivity. It's not pretending bad things are secretly good. It's accepting that this is what happened, full stop. And now the only useful question is what you do next. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." Every obstacle contains the raw material for your next move. Fighting what already happened wastes energy you could be using to respond to it. Notice the specific mechanism of suffering here, because it's easy to skip past. It isn't the event causing the ongoing pain days or weeks later. It's the repeated, looping argument with reality. This shouldn't have happened. It's not fair. Why me? Each loop re-triggers the emotional charge as if the event were happening again, fresh, right now. You can relive a single insult 100 times in your head over a week, and each replay costs you the same emotional toll as the original moment, sometimes more, because now you've added resentment on top of the original hurt. Amor Fati interrupts that loop, not by pretending you're fine with what happened, but by redirecting the question from "why did this happen to me?" to "given that this happened, what now?" Practically, this looks like closing the argument with reality as fast as you can. The moment you catch yourself rehearsing how things should have gone differently, stop and ask instead, what is the most useful action available to me right now, given exactly what has happened? Not what you wish had happened, what actually did. That single redirection, repeated enough times, is what separates people who get stuck in a bad month for years from people who move through the same bad month in weeks. Lesson number 6. Rehearse the worst case. Premeditatio malorum. The Stoics practiced something called premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of evils. Every so often they would deliberately imagine losing what they valued, their health, their position, their relationships. This sounds morbid, but the purpose was the opposite of despair. By rehearsing loss in your mind ahead of time, you strip it of its power to blindside you emotionally. When hardship does arrive, and it always does, you're not caught off guard. You've already sat with the possibility. Seneca practiced this constantly, reminding himself that fortune only lends us what we have, it doesn't give it. This isn't about walking through life anxious and bracing for disaster. It's the opposite. Knowing you've already considered the worst case frees you to enjoy the present moment without the constant background hum of what if. The rehearsal happens once, deliberately. The piece lasts. Seneca went further than most in his letters to Lucilius, advising him to set aside deliberate periods, living as if he had already lost everything, eating the plainest food, wearing the roughest clothes, and asking himself, "Is this the condition that I feared?" The point wasn't self-punishment. It was proving to himself through direct experience that the thing he feared losing wasn't actually the source of his stability. That stability had to come from somewhere sturdier than circumstance, or it was never stability at all, just a temporary truce with luck. There's an emotional control application here that's easy to miss. Most people's anger and panic in the moment of loss come from shock as much as from the loss itself. The job you always assumed was secure, the relationship you never imagined ending, the health you never questioned. When these things break without warning, part of what floods you isn't just grief, it's the violent collapse of an assumption you didn't know you were leaning on. Premeditatio malorum removes that second layer in advance. You still feel the loss when it comes, that's human and appropriate, but you're not also blindsided by the shattering of an illusion that things were guaranteed. You had already, quietly, made peace with the fact that nothing was. Lesson number 7. Respond, don't react. There's a difference between a reaction and a response, and it's the difference between a life ruled by your emotions and a life ruled by your values. A reaction is instant, automatic, unexamined. Someone insults you, you snap back. Something goes wrong, you panic. A response has a pause built into it. Between the trigger and your action, there's a gap, and in that gap is where your character actually lives. Epictetus taught that between an impression and our reaction to it, there is always a space, however small, and that space is entirely ours to use. The untrained mind collapses that space to zero. The trained mind, the Stoic mind, learns to widen it. Even half a second of pause before you speak, before you hit send, before you act, is enough to move you from reaction to response. This is the entire practice compressed into one moment. Catch the gap and choose. Every lesson in this video is really a different tool for widening that same gap. Separating fact from story widens it. Observing the emotion instead of becoming it widens it. Remembering what's actually yours to control widens it. Zooming out widens it. Making peace with what already happened widens it. Rehearsing loss in advance widens it before the moment even arrives. None of these are separate tricks. They are the same skill, practiced from 7 different angles, and that skill is simply this. The space between what happens to you and what you do about it is yours, and the more deliberately you occupy it, the less power any single emotion has to run your entire life. Now, we'd love to hear from you. Which of these 7 lessons on controlling your emotions hit closest to home? Share in the comments below. If you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up and share it with someone who needs to hear it. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so already. Keep your mind steady, keep your emotions in check, and until next time, stay stoic.